today. Today is the last day. The last day of 2013. 2013 years have passed. And how many more will come? We do not know. But 2014 will be here soon. What do you think happened years ago when a child was born in Bethlehem of Judea? And some things happened a few days later in a temple in Jerusalem. It happened years ago. That child was born. He had never existed before. He had never breathed air. He had never seen light. And yet he was born. And his mother's husband was warned in a dream by God a few days or years later to leave and go to Egypt. And Joseph and Mary and the child left and went to Egypt, at which time a lot of children died because a king made a decree and it was carried out. This child, at the age of 12, was in Jerusalem again for a feast, and his mother and father left him and came back looking for him. They found him in his father's house. And Jesus went with them for a few years. And then one day, he was at the River Jordan, and his cousin had been preaching, and he shows up at the river. And you can read what happened at the river. John baptized Jesus, and Jesus went immediately after that into the wilderness, where he did not eat for 40 days. And while he was in the wilderness, he met Satan. And Satan said, "If you are the Son of God." It's 2013, folks, and Satan has now turned the Son of God into God. Yes, Satan has taken his message and he has deceived the world with it. Satan's message, Jesus is God, is the false message. I don't know how many people will continue to believe the false messages that Satan brings to people and deceives them. His false message of grace has deceived millions and billions of people. Satan knows without a doubt what is going to happen to the ungodly people that have lived. He he saw what happened by a flood. Yeah, Satan watched as God killed every living thing on the earth. And Noah came through in a boat with his family and the animals that were saved and kept alive on that boat. And they gonna tell me there was no flood in Noah's day? Yes, there was a flood in Noah's day. And there was a city being built. And they were building a tower to heaven. But God stopped it. There have been a lot of things done on this earth today that men decided to do, and God stopped it. There was one thing God wanted a man to do, and he went up on a mountain one day, and he was right near Jerusalem. He had been to this mountain before, and he had prayed on that mountain many times. And he knew that when he got on that mountain, that God would meet with him, and he would meet with God. And he said, Father, if there's any other way, let this go. And his father said, Son, there is no other way. And Jesus said, I'm not going to do my will, Father. I'm going to do yours. And Jesus did it. There was an apostle named Paul who was struck blind on a road. And that apostle was not an apostle until the day Cornelius came, I believe that was his name, and laid hands on him and prayed for him that he would receive his sight. Paul immediately began to preach that Jesus was the Son of God. If you want to believe Satan's lies, then I cannot stop you. And you can say what you want to say every day of 2014. Somebody will not see tomorrow because they will die today. And they will go to a place prepared for them. Jesus went to heaven, to a place prepared for him. Jesus entered heaven with his own blood for a reason. And if people do not repent and turn from sin, they will die in it. You can believe the devil's lies, or you can believe God's truth. And it was God who said, "This is my son." He said it at the river. He said it other times. Yes, they will contend with me today. They will contend with me tonight. And they will probably contend with me tomorrow. But I won't change the message. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Sodom was burned. Lot lost a wife. And there will be a lot of lives lost in 2014. There are more lives, there are more alive on earth today than there has ever been. Therefore, more can die this year than there ever has. I am not the author and finisher of faith, and I do not decide who lives or who dies. 2014 is tomorrow. what will you do? What have you done? Have you believed Satan's lies? Have you believed that you can do what you want to do and be rewarded by God? You can't. You won't. No one ever has. Noah got a pretty good reward. God asked him to build a boat. Abraham got a real good reward. God asked him to leave his home, land, and country and go to a place. Jesus lived and died, and he is at a place right now, and he is waiting for God. Yeah, I know some of you don't like this message, but it doesn't matter what people like. It comes down to, what does God like? I don't know how I could have said this any differently, but maybe I could have. But I've said it this way, and today is the last day of 2013. And it will be the last day that some people see. I don't even know if I will see tomorrow, but I can see today. And we will see how things go. Yes, we will. And this is the end of this tape.